Hannah Turner, and this is my presentation for Module 1. Like I said, my name is Hannah Turner. I am married to my husband, Blake. We're both teachers at the same school. We share a lot of the same students. We live in Yates Center, Kansas, which is a very small town on the eastern part of the state. And we have one cat. His name is Wally. I started my educational journey. I graduated from Ouachita Baptist University in Arkadelphia, Arkansas in 2017. I have a degree in middle school education with an emphasis in math and social studies. After I graduated, I moved to the next town over and I taught sixth grade math for 2 years. And after that, I moved with my husband to Yates Center, and I teach sixth, seventh, and eighth grade math at the elementary school here in town. I'm also the middle school girls basketball coach. And this year I have been a part of the building and district leadership teams, and I am wrapping up now my 4th year teaching. My philosophy of education, I truly believe that teaching is a calling. Not everyone can do what we do. I also believe that all students can learn if they are given the right support system from their teachers and from their parents. And I definitely incorporate this quote into how I teach. And no significant learning can occur without a significant relationship. And I believe that also applies to a principal's relationship with their staff. When it comes to teacher improvement, this can kind of be a touchy subject, because if teachers are hearing that they need improvement, they might also be hearing the subliminal message that they're not very good. That is, of course, not the case. When it comes to the driving force for teacher improvement, using test scores as a measure is just not a good idea. It's not very accurate. It's just also just kind of not fair. And it's also very discouraging for a teacher if they know that student test scores are going to be used either against them or for them. It's just don't do it. Evaluation systems are very valuable, but they are historically very underutilized. In 2009, they were basically worthless as a stamp. Cool, you did it, let's move on. But by 2015, almost all states have reevaluated their evaluation systems, and the Every Student Succeeds Act of 2017 unfortunately dropped off the push for those evaluation systems. But whenever you use an evaluation system, whichever one that you choose to use, you need to decide which measures should be included. Are we focusing more on like prep work, what we see students do, professionalism? What do we want to see? And most importantly, what is the purpose? Are we just doing it just to say that we do it? Or are we trying to use this data to help us drive teacher improvement? One of the main ways to improve teachers is by teachers learning. We are professional students. We should never, ever stop learning. Professional development, therefore, should be relevant. We should never just do it just to do it, just to get the hours. Teachers hate it. We've all been there in a professional development meeting that should have been an email. We don't want to do that to our staff. Professional development should be informed from evaluations. If you have a teacher that is in particular struggling with classroom management, they should be doing professional development on classroom management. Professional development should also come from teacher input. If teachers want to learn more about how to use Google Classroom, we should be able to find some professional development to meet that need. And it should also incorporate school needs. If, like my school right now is in the process of a KISA evaluation, one of our areas of improvement needs to be community involvement. We should be looking at professional development on how to incorporate the community into our school. So it just kind of depends on what the evaluations say, what your teachers say, and what your school needs. Sustained PD is definitely better than single serve PD. If you go just one time for a couple of hours and you just leave and you don't go back and revisit that new information, it's not going to stick very well. Sustained PD over the course of several days, if not over several months, like one day a month, over a few months, is much, much better and is more likely to stick with teachers. So while those professional development days are more of a pain because that means substitutes, but it's definitely better. Peer evaluations and coaching are also extremely valuable. If your school has mentors, you should try to get those mentors opportunities to observe teachers and other teachers, even if they're like not new teachers, novice teachers, they need to also be mentoring other teachers in your district. You need to let teachers view each other. Lesson studies are also very important and also ongoing and embedded in practice. Um, if you learn something new, you need to practice it over and over and over again. You just can't watch it and be like, okay, yeah, that's cool, and like move on. It needs to be practiced over and over again. When it comes to teacher retention, you need to invest in your staff members. They're not just there to do a job; they are people. Like they need to be able to feel valued. Excuse me. Communicating with staff. This is more than just an email. You need to talk to them face to face. Incentive pay is also a very nice perk. Um, while we don't do what we do for the money being compensated for what we do is also it's very nice. It makes teachers feel valued, especially when you're a small school. My school is very, very small. It's also kind of in the middle of nowhere. My husband and I were both offered signing bonuses for coming. So if you are a principal at a small school, that is something that you should definitely consider is having some sort of signing bonus. You should also, at the very least, encourage teachers to sponsor a student activity. At my old school, I did not have that opportunity. Right now, I am the 8th grade class sponsor, and I'm also the basketball coach. Those type of things are more likely to help teachers stay. They feel valued for more than just what they teach. There's more than what they do. They're more involved. You should also allow opportunities for professional development outside of what the school sponsors. So if there's some sort of conference and the teacher wants to go, you should definitely consider allowing them to go, especially if it's relevant to areas of struggle for that teacher. And you should promote or provide opportunities for staff to connect outside of work. This picture is a picture of our lounge wars. And although this took place in school, like we decorated our lounges, we competed against the elementary school, and we all dressed up. Even though that took place in school, it was definitely like a group effort, and we were able to communicate and talk to other people within our own little group that we may have not got to talk to a lot. And this was very, very memorable for everybody. This was a lot of fun. And you should also promote mental healthiness. And how to promote mental healthiness or teacher well-being. First and foremost, you need to be open to discussing mental health. It's not every single teacher at one point struggles with feelings of inadequacy or anxiety or anything like that. Be open about that. Don't hide it. You yourself should train to support your staff. Like I said earlier, those relationships that you build are very, very important. And when you train, you are able to better serve your staff. If you yourself are able to support your staff whenever it's appropriate, that relationship will go a lot further than having someone else come and talk to your staff. You, as the boss, you need to be able to do that. You need to recognize your staff's achievement, not just through an email, not just anonymously. It needs to be very open and very public. Like, this teacher, the boss, am seeing that you are doing awesome. It needs to be public, and it needs to happen very frequently. If whenever possible, you should reduce workload. That's a very common complaint among teachers, is the workload. And the teachers' lounges, that timeout space, they're often places of the graveyard of neglected furniture. They should not be like that. They should be very comfortable, and they should be very welcoming for teachers, whether it's there to eat lunch or they just need a space to get away. That they need to be comfortable for teachers. Communicate is, like I said earlier, it's very, very important. You need to do it on the daily, emails, and also face to face with your staff. And also, most importantly, you need to ask staff for the feedback. You need to mean it, that you want their feedback. You need to listen to what they say. You can't just ask for feedback and it goes in one ear and out the other. You need to listen to what they say and make those changes that they request within reason, of course. So how this assignment correlated to our standard. As a teacher, I obviously know that culture is extremely vital to the overall success of a school. This assignment, however, gave me specific tools necessary to actually cultivate and nurture that school environment that everyone wants to be a part of. As the principal, I have control over that. Teachers should always be improving, and the data that drives these learning opportunities should come from evaluations as well as teacher input. Keeping teachers happy is the key to success. I do not think this factor can be understated at all. When the teachers are happy, students are happy, and they can learn when they're happy. When teachers are happy, they stay and help the school to grow. Teacher turnover is often a sign of a very poorly mismanaged school, so it's very important that teachers stay happy and they stay. Um, this assignment improved my understanding of how to improve the well-being of students and adults. As a learner, I need specific examples on what I should do, and this assignment provided that for me. My first job, for lack of a better word, was toxic to my overall well-being, and that environment was the reason that I left and almost left education entirely. I was not provided the support either in teaching, socially, or mentally that I needed to be successful. At the time, it was hard to put into words exactly why I was so miserable, but now that I am in a school that is a better fit for me, I can easily make the comparisons and I'm better able to see what other improvements I'd like to see as a teacher moving forward. This assignment provided excellent examples on what I should do to help my staff and therefore students succeed. Discussing mental health is not something that I am particularly comfortable with, and now I know how necessary that skill is. I am now aware that this is a weakness that I would need to improve on for my staff. I'm also lacking creative ways to give praise or to celebrate my staff, and I know I would need to reach out to my staff for ideas on this front. And here are my references. I greatly appreciate you guys listening to my presentation.